What up, everyone? It's Ryan Wilson. You gonna eat that crust podcast? Are you a fan of spine-chilling tales, creepy creatures, and all things horror? Listen to LK the Horror Nerd. He offers in-depth reviews of movies, books, and games, exclusive interviews, and chilling discussions. That's right, folks. Check out LK the Horror Nerd, another podcast on the You Run Podcast Network. Check it out, y'all. What up, everybody? Welcome to the You Gonna Eat That Crust podcast. I'm your host with the most on the ones and twos, Ryan Wilson. And with me tonight, the sweatpants overlord, follically challenged himself, Mr. Gregory Hoey. Greg, how are things?
They're well. A member of my work was like, "You're in this band follically challenged. I need you to do something for me." And I was like, "What's that?" He's like, "I need you to take off your hat." And I was like, I took off my hat and my hair was gray and patchy up top, you know. And the young kids looked at me like, "Wow, this kid's old."
It's really being put on the spot there.
Yeah.
Everyone point and laugh now.
Well, anybody who's follically challenged who hears the name of the band, their first thing is like, "I could be in your band. I could be in your band." It's like, you can't. You can't be in my band. Just because you don't have hair doesn't mean you can play music. I mean, it's probably indicating that you can, but it's not 100%.
It's a stepping stone anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have like an awesome sound or anything like that, you know?
Whoa, speaking of awesome sound, let me tell you guys what we're here to talk about today. Now, today is a band, we're talking about a band I've listened to most of my life, all right, since my teen years. And this is our tribute episode to Ween. Now, what can I say about Ween? Perhaps the most important band to have ever entered my life. Ween showed me there are no limits to what can be done within the confines of music. There are no rules one must adhere to be successful. A band can make their vision a reality without the waters being muddied by studio execs or record labels. March to the beat of your drum seems very apropos for a band like Ween because that is what they have always done. And to me, that makes them easily the most punk rock band of all time. I don't know what the future holds for Ween, but they've left a mark on me and for fans everywhere. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Ween.
And this is a Patreon episode requested by Nate Harvey.
Yeah, this episode's clearly dedicated to Nate, who wasn't impressed.
He did like a few songs, but, you know, sometimes they're an acquired taste. I have to piggyback on that and say, you know, I like them pretty much right away, but when I first heard them, I was like, what the fuck is this? Because obviously Steve Portree made me a mixtape, and I have it somewhere, but he doodled all over it, and it was very Ween cover art. But I gotta say, love them or hate them, they're probably the most diverse band I've ever heard in my life. I've had people say like, "Ugh, I fucking hate Ween," and then I'll show them a song like, "Who's this?" I'm like, "It's fucking Ween, you prick." And I love it. That's one of my favorite things to do is, you know, to show people songs who talk shit about Ween because they're so diverse. Because you can hear a song, be like, "What the fuck is this?" And they're like, "Oh, this shit's cool. Who's this?" It's like, it's the same band you were just listening to.
Yeah, that happens at work with my boss all the time. I'll be listening to Ween, and one song will come in like rocking out, you know, like, "Oh, this is cool. What's this? Ween. Oh, yeah, nice." And then like, you know, something a little more harder to digest might come through and be like, "What are you listening to?" Ween.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for this episode. It's been a long time in the coming. So, you know, let's give you a little history. Aaron Freeman and Mickey Maltonato met in junior high school typing class in 1984. Freeman recalled, "We didn't like each other. He was a jock, and I was more of a trench coat guy. But we sat next to each other in typing class, and we both realized we were into music. The name Ween was made by the duo, a combination of the words wuss and penis. Yeah, they both claim to have both spotted their demonic entity known as the Boognish um, hiding behind a tree outside. So that kind of,
on acid.
yeah, well, I mean, that kind of tells you a lot about them. The Boognish is supposed to represent the balance between good and evil. It's their entity. It's a pretty fucking dope symbol, if you ask me.
It is a pretty dope symbol. I'm wearing my Ween hoodie right now, and the zip up is the Boognish.
Sick, sick. From 1984 to 1994, Ween's live lineup consisted of Freeman on lead vocals and occasional rhythm guitar, Melchinato on lead guitar and backing vocals, and also DAT machine, which is a digital audio tape machine, and that would provide all their drums and bass. And so right off the bat, you're looking at a pretty unique live show. They self-released 6 cassettes in the late 80s. Mrs. Slack, 1985, Erica Peterson's Flaming Crib Death, 1986, Axis Bold as Boognish, 1987, The Crucial Squeegee Lip, 1987, and the Live Brain Wedgie Wad, 1988, and Prime 5, 1989. I've heard a couple of these. I've heard Axis Bold as Boognish and The Crucial Squeegee Lip, and it's not for the faint of heart.
Now, do they have any of the songs that they've released on like their studio albums? On
these
old albums,
they have some early versions and some.
Gotcha.
The framework is there. So by 1988, Ween become regulars at John and Peta's in New Hope, in City Gardens in Trenton, New Jersey. At City Gardens, they opened for acts like They Might Be Giants, Guar, Butthole Surfers, and Henry Rollins. Following a February 1990 City Gardens performance where Ween's reception was, lukewarm, Rollins got on stage and warned the crowd, "Start liking them now, for one day you'll get down on your filthy knees and crawl to the altar. That is Ween."
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I mean, they Might Be Giants is definitely, that's a good team up right there.
Yeah, Butthole Surfers too. I mean,
Yep. I mean, even Henry Rollins' crowd, maybe not so much, but Henry Rollins is pretty open-minded and obviously a talented musician.
Well, to say Henry Rollins is like a music aficionado is, it's taking that very lightly, because that guy, he doesn't just like listen to music. He absorbs music and he collects all these obscure albums and shit. And he's also the singer of one of the most legendary punk bands of all time, Black Flag.
Yep.
So
he's like a cooler version of Dave Grohl.
Absolutely.
And he doesn't cheat on his wife, apparently.
No, this guy's so intelligent too. I mean, you just listen to him talk, you get mesmerized.
An amazing actor. No, he's not amazing, but he is actually a decent actor. I've seen him in some good stuff. Say what you say about, or say what you like about the Sons of Anarchy show. It's kind of cheesy, but he was great in Sons of Anarchy, playing a fucking skinhead.
Yeah. Shortly after, Ween was signed to Twin Tone Records, and they released God, Ween, Satan, The Oneness. It was released November 16, 1990. It consisted of 26 tracks that were written during the first 6 years and can be thought of as the best of this era of music. So, Greg, what do you want to say about God, Ween, Satan?
So, Justin from Pop Culture Reflections, we're doing a 1990 list, and I was like, oh, what albums are on 1990? I was like, oh, God, Ween, Satan's there. I'm going to put that on there, and we're going to dissect that. I was trolling Nate a little bit because Nate didn't like the Mollusk, so I'm like, I'm going to put God, Ween, Satan in there and see what he thinks about this. But there's a ton of great tracks. It's definitely an insane album, but like Fat Lenny, Old Queen Cole, like there's so many great tracks. I think it's a pretty fire album. Again, like I like the Ween that's weird as well too, so I can listen to any Ween and be like, all right, I get it,
Yeah. What a hard open for an album with You Fucked Up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh shit, that's the song that's on the movie that I'll discuss later.
Yeah. I mean, there's some classic tracks on here. You got Fat Lenny, Don't Laugh, I Love You.
Oh yeah, it's a great song.
Nicole, Mushroom Festival in Hell, which is one of the crazier songs. It's just fun.
I don't know if Justin's going to be able to handle this one either. Like, it's like after I said that, I'm like, I don't want to like make Justin not like Ween because this album's so crazy.
They get pretty offensive with a bunch of these songs as well. But I mean, great. I mean, honestly, Puffy Cloud, the album ender. Such a simple little slow ditty, but then when they played it with the country band backing them, takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah.
The band released their second full-length album, The Pod, in 1991 on Shimmy Disc label. It was recorded on a 4-track cassette recorder from January to October 1990. The name comes from a flop house they were living at the time and was inspired by heavy drug and alcohol use. It resulted in one of the most eclectic and obscure albums of all time. So, Greg, The Pod.
Fucking
Go.
love The Pod, man. Captain Fantasy. So, Sorry Charlie is like one of my favorite Ween songs. Now, I do love the version on The Pod, but like hearing the version live. Again, a lot of these songs translate amazingly live. Like some of these songs live with a full band, you're like, holy shit. Of course, awesome sound. A lot of these songs were on the mix that Steve made me. He made a pretty good mix of normal stuff, I like to say, and like just Ween stuff. Like you like to say, more brown, a little bit more brown.
Yeah.
I feel like each of their albums are getting better and better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, The Pod is kind of like the hardest, album that you could ever introduce someone to Ween by. It's
more so than God, Ween, Satan, you think?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's not recorded in the studio. God, Ween, Satan was. This is just recorded on a 4-track.
Okay.
So it's very, very lo-fi. And they did some insane recording techniques to get this. But, I mean, it also... Captain Fantasy, Frank, Dr. Rock, Molly, Can You Taste the Waste? Awesome Sound, Don't Sweat It. I mean, these are some iconic songs, and they go to be a big part of their catalog, too, as they play live. Pork Roll, Egg, and Cheese. Always one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, I know you love that song.
I got to eat a pork roll, egg, and cheese this year, too, so that was a big deal.
That's a big deal.
My boss's father-in-law brought him down from Jersey. You got to get him from this one place. There's only one place you can get it. So it's pretty all right. It's like bologna, fancier bologna.
Yeah. That's gross.
Ween signed with Elektra Records November 10th in November of 92.
The execs heard The Pod and they were like, yes, this is it.
We need this, man.
This is an awesome sound, actually.
So they signed with Elektra Records and released Pure Guava November 10th, 1992.
Woo.
Pure Guava featured their highest charting single, Push the Little Daisies, and gained them media and MTV attention. The video is highlighted on MTV's Beavis and Butthead. And obviously, I mean, that was... we all remember that if we're of a certain age. Just hearing, Ween's awesome. Like, yeah.
Push the Little Daisies is fucking great, man. That song is so wild, but I think it's a banger, man. I fucking love that song.
Yeah, the vocals are absolutely insane on that song. Yeah. It's a fun album. I mean, let's talk about Pure Guava, Greg. What are your thoughts?
So I want to say that either, I know it's off the Mollusk, but either Mutilated Lips or Don't Get Too Close to My Fantasy are the first Ween songs I've ever heard. I want to say Don't Get Too Close to My Fantasy was the first song I heard on that mix.
Yeah, nice.
Little Birdie, Sarah, like Pure Guava's great. And like I said, like this is where they're starting to kind of show themselves. They've always been like fantastic songwriters. I think like not that they're, I think one episode I called them like pop songs. They're not pop songs. They're just great songwriters that can be, a little poppy and stuff, but they love to use insane vocal like synthesizers or whatever the fuck they're doing to their voices because it's fucking crazy. There's some insane shit. But Little Birdie's awesome too as well. But Push Little Daisies, man, come on, that song rules.
Yeah, there's a lot of pitch shifted vocals and stuff, and like just crazy guitar techniques, and the drums on these the old drum machines and stuff they use definitely gave it all a pretty unique sound. Some of my favorite songs, Don't Get Too Close to My Fantasy, is epic. Yep.
I'm surprised that they didn't get a drummer till 97. Like, kind of couldn't even really tell on Chocolate and Cheese. It sounds like they had a full band there almost, but they didn't, right? They still had a drum machine.
No, they had live drums on Chocolate and Cheese.
Oh, okay.
This is a great album anyway. Pure Guava, Pumping for the Man, Sarah, Reggae Junkie Jew. Going
Yeah.
gets tough from the get-go. Stallion. I mean, we're
Motherfucker.
introducing the mythos of the stallion. I mean, all 5 stallions are insane songs. Also, though, I mean, this album it gets creepy. Like the song "Flies on My Dick," really
Yep.
hard song to listen to. Creepy. It's a creepy song. It's kind of a theme that Ween can go back and forth through.
Yeah, they have a lot of dick-related songs.
They really do.
And I'm here for it.
You know what they say: write what you know.
Yes.
You know.
Hey, we all know dicks, right? We got them.
So, Greg, following the release of Pure Guava, Ween began to expand their live setup, and they introduced Claude Coleman Jr., officially joins the band in '94, and longtime producer Andrew Weiss started playing bass.
I swear I read that it was the Mollusk when they first added Claude Coleman, but let me
No.
talk about Claude Coleman is just an absolute beast on the drums. That dude
Yeah, he's a
is
maniac.
fucking legend, man.
Just some of the drum lines that you didn't think any human could replicate. I'm like, how was he doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great album Chocolate and Cheese was. That was such a good album.
Yeah, Chocolate and Cheese, released in 1994. It's kind of their breakthrough album. They playing on the Conan O'Brien show.
Nice.
And their song "Voodoo Lady" was used in the Road Trip soundtrack and "Dude, Where's My Car," neither of which are notable movies. You know, they happened. It's also around this time that Fish started covering "Roses Are Free," which
You
became
mean that Fish song?
yeah, it became a staple in Fish's live set.
Ween fans weren't happy about that.
No, probably, this garnered him a lot more attention and fans. And on Trey Anastasio, Jeaner says, "I like Trey as a person, but as far as the music goes, all that jam band shit makes me want to puke."
Hell yeah.
I mean, Ween has a lot of hippie fans or whatever, but they also diss hippies a lot in some of their songs.
For sure.
They have a song called "Hippie Smell."
Yeah, hippie smell. Yeah, I mean, so they're essentially psychedelic rock, of course. They're obviously experimental psychedelic rock, which, I mean, I guess you could say Fish is psychedelic rock, but they're just more of a jam band. But I'm surprised it surprises me a little bit that he said that, but it makes me fucking laugh at the same time because he's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you can never take away the fact that Jeaner's fucking keeps it real, baby.
Yeah, dude, baby bitch. Don't shit where you eat. And I gotta say, one of the songs on that mix that you guys made me, or that Steve made me, what Diener was talking about, like that was one of the first songs that like really hit me, and I loved it. I was like, oh man, this song is amazing. Like just such great vocal work and cool lyrics. Like Diener's the man.
Yeah, I mean, from the very get-go, this album comes in a lot more powerful than any of their previous works, with "Take Me Away," kind of like a show tune, like, hey, all right, kids, here we go.
Take Me Away is great.
Yeah, one of my favorite songs, "Freedom of 76. I love the vocals on that song. Jeaner just hits those high notes.
Yeah, that just shows his range. He's got insane range. And the cover of the album is really cool, too. And when you see him at a Halloween show, you see a bunch of girls walking around like that. You're like, all right, what's up?
Spike Jones goes on to produce the video for "Freedom of 76.
No shit.
Oh, dog.
All right.
Yeah, we also have "I Can't Put My Finger on It." Great, like Indian sounding. "Tear for Eddie," which is just an amazing instrumental track.
Yeah. That was their nod to Fish.
Sure.
Just kidding. That's a great instrumental. That's how a jam should be, like 5-6 minutes, and that's it. Get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, you get "Drifter in the Dark." It's just a cowboy ditty. "Joppa Road," another fantastic song. And then you get some of the offensive shit. You get "Don't Shit Where You Eat." I didn't think the HIV song was on this album.
It is.
So you get the HIV song, which is just the chanting of the words AIDS and HIV for about 2.5 minutes.
Put to like circus music, like it's like really happy music. That bass line though, it's like a nice walking bass line. Do 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 do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic song, fantastic album. I think it's more of a straight up rock album for them, with some hills and valleys, of course, but great album anyway, and it definitely broke them through a little more in terms of the mainstream.
Yep, it's one of their best for sure.
November of '95, Ween records with a Nashville band to release the album 12 Golden Country Hits.
With only 11 tracks.
Sticking to Nashville tradition, Freeman and Melchinato provided only vocals, allowing the Shit Creek Boys to play all the instruments. Elvis Presley's former backing vocal quartet, the Jordanaires, appeared on tracks I'm Holding You and Powder Blue.
Ugh. I hate country music, and I fucking love this album. This album is so fucking good, dude. Help me scrape the mucus off my brain. Of course, piss up a rope. I don't want to leave you on the farm. The whole Powder Blue, Fluffy, all that shit, dude. It's so fucking good, dude. It's very offensive. Japanese Cowboy is very offensive.
Yeah. It is. And, but I think Ween's kind of put themselves outside of any kind of culture where they're ever going to be canceled. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot they could do that would surprise their fans at this point.
Yeah, their lyrics are always super funny and just whether it's offensive, it will make you laugh too. Like they're great.
Yeah, well, I mean, that on one hand, sure, but Ween also can write dark songs and some of the most beautiful love songs, and they just really are all over the spectrum.
Yeah, there's just so diverse.
Yeah, they did a great tour, after this with the entire, what they called them the Shit Creek Boys. They released a live album with the Shit Creek Boys, took some of their songs to whole new heights. And there's all kinds of funny stories about recording with the Nashville band. Like most of these people were like diehard, like Christian, Catholic, like just members, this huge, it's in fucking Texas. So church is big over there, and these guys are all righteous, and then they got to sing these songs. Like, what are we doing? Like, and a lot of guys just walked during the.
A lot of people were pissed off. I heard, a lot of the country people were really pissed off, and of course, 12 Golden Country Greats, and there's only 11 songs, which is fucking hilarious.
I think there's a song called "Goodbye Jerry" that was a side, like a B-side to one of the albums, which was their ode to Jerry Garcia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it can be found.
I came to respect. I used to hate Grateful Dead and love Fish, and now it's almost the opposite for me. I like Grateful Dead more than I like Fish. I still respect Fish. I think Fish is a great band, and they're obviously very talented. But I don't know how people can just I just listen to Fish and that's it. It's oh my god, fucking expand your fucking mind, dog. Get out of that maze.
This I know, my friend. The nautically themed album The Mollusk followed in 1997. The album is considered a classic among fans, and for a good reason. The nautically themed album features show tunes, straight-up rock songs, and sea shanties.
To Seamus?
Gene calls it their dark acid rock album and is considered the inspiration for SpongeBob SquarePants. Although they did not play on the album, bassist Dave Drewitz and keyboard Glenn McClelland joined the band in 97 and go on to appear with the band in its current lineup. Glenn's awesome. They're both awesome.
They are both awesome.
Glenn played with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude. So he's got chops, obviously.
He
added so much to the live sound.
And fun fact, obviously, in the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, they featured Ocean Man in the credits.
The creator of SpongeBob SquarePants literally cites that the mollusk was the inspiration for SpongeBob.
That's awesome.
He peppers in Ween references all throughout the SpongeBob show. They also did the Loop-de-Loop song for the SpongeBob movie, which was a song about learning how to tie your shoes. Actually, that soundtrack also features Pantera, so it's quite the soundtrack for SpongeBob.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, this is kind of this was my introduction to Ween, kinda. I mean, I'd heard other Ween songs before, but this is the one that's like, holy shit, this is the greatest band of all time. It's just kind of a perfect album to me.
Buckingham Green is so awesome to hear live. The fucking drums
epic.
in that song are fucking insane.
I'll Be Your Johnny on the Spot.
Fantastic.
It's Gonna Be All Right. And that, songs like It's Gonna Be All Right, that's kind of shows, Gene's writing ability and his range, like how he can write just, fucked up songs like, the AIDS song or Waving My Dick in the Wind, but then have songs like
song.
Yeah, it's like It's Gonna Be All Right, or Cold Blows the Wind is such a haunting song when you listen to it. I mean, they had the cello in there and the violins, and it really.
Honestly, those are some of my favorite Ween songs. Or It's Gonna Be All Right, and there's a few on White Pepper that are like that, like She's Your Baby or whatever. They're kind of not like love songs, but just they're really kind of soft poppy songs. Like you said, he just does a great job. They can do really fucked up shit and they can do like kind of really just slow jams and really good pop songs, and just they do it all, man. They're super diverse. I mean, we can't state that enough how diverse these guys are.
Oh God! Also, the Golden Eel. I mean,
Oh, yep.
that song live is just incredible.
Yep. That was on the Steve Porch remix.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah. Oh man, you know, you and Steve both got me into Ween. You know, I think I mocked Ween heavily. I was like, these fucking guys, and then I was like, oh my God. I was like Bobby Graves when he was like, you know, used to make fun of me for liking Tool, and then he came up to me. He's like, "You going to the Tool show?" I was like, "Give me your ticket now."
You know, that happens a lot until it just eventually it clicks. You know, like it's not an easy band to get into. There's like there should be a 12-step program for getting into Ween, basically.
Yeah, I have this playlist on my Spotify called Ween Conversion Therapy. it's kind of like all just like normal-ish songs from them. And you know what? When this episode posts, I will post my Ween Conversion Therapy playlist, and y'all out there can check it out. And then maybe we'll put some weird stuff on there as well too, because it's all good.
You gotta be brown, baby. What Ween calls it is going brown. It's the brown sound. It's just sludgy and dirty and dark. And, you know, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's a cacophony of noises.
Now, is 97 when we went on our little Ween tour?
It is, yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
My first show was the year before. I saw him in Northampton with Phil K, and he bought me a ticket, and I told him I couldn't go to the show because I was at work. And all of a sudden, like, well, first he calls my work and says, "Hey, are you going to the Ween show?" I was like, "Dude, they won't let me leave work." I was like, "I'm stuck here." So he hangs up on me. Fucking all of a sudden, like, my manager comes, like, "Ryan, someone's at the door. They need to talk to you." And so my manager follows me, and he's like, "Ryan," he's like, "Dan just got in a car accident." He's like, "We got to go see him in the hospital right now." And my manager's like, "Okay. Yeah, just go, Ryan. Just go. We understand." And I follow Phil out to the car, and Dan is sitting in the car, and he's like, "You're going to Ween, motherfucker. I paid for your ticket. Let's go."
Which job was this?
This was at the Gateway Family Restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Where I was a dishwasher / fry cook. That that was my my foray, the introduction to me becoming a kitchen guy. Everyone around me is like, "Look at all these pieces of shit." Now I realize, like, oh, I'm one of them now. Great. So my first favorite Ween song was Frank. And the minute we walked in the door, they were playing Frank. So it was like, this is Kismet right here, baby.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, and then we would later go on to the Avalon, and was it Paradise? We went to 2 or 3 shows with Froed out Ian Alley, who could not control his drinking, and he would get blacked out and fucking be insane to handle.
Just him running through the fucking streets of Boston yelling at everybody.
Yeah.
"You don't understand! My parents got divorced!"
I remember he was losing his shit once at a party, and Corey LaFlower put him in a headlock, and he's like, "Oh!" His voice got evil, and Ian just put his hands up, "All right, I'm done." That was the show where they were playing Baby Bitch, and I stuck up my hair pick when I had hair, when I had a fro, and I said, "Hey, Junior, you need a pick?" And he stopped. He's like, "Huh, that's pretty funny." And then when Claude Coleman, when they were playing Hop a Teacher, instead of saying "class dismissed," they said "nice afro." And I remember years later finding that bootleg album and hearing that, and I was like, "Oh, that's fucking awesome." Because it was. That was a sick little tour we went on. That was the first time I saw them. And again, seeing Ween and listening to their studio stuff is night and day. If I took you to a Ween show, anybody, you'd be like, "Whoa, these guys are fucking insane live." And they are. They're fucking amazing live. Yeah. One of the best shows I've seen.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a live band, and that's why to this day we haven't had any new Ween material, because I don't think that does it for them. I think playing live is what gives them that feeling and makes them want to keep going. I remember I saw one show at a college. It was a free show. Drove up to the college. God, they're playing Ocean Man. Yep. And all of a sudden, Claude stops drumming. He's like, "What the fuck was that?" And he holds it up, and someone threw a bloody tampon at him.
Oh,
and all of a sudden, Gina's like, "Song goes out the bloody tampon! Bloody tampon! Here we go!" And then they break into sketches of Winkle.
I remember I threw my hippie crack mixtape up on the stage, and I swear Dina was like, "What is it?" I said, "It's hip hop," and he like kicked it right back in my face.
He's like, ew.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that was awesome."
I think even one of the songs, I think Ocean Man, maybe, was on a car commercial too.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I know there was a Modest Mouse song on a car commercial as well too. But you remember that hippie crack tape? That was the tape that had the guy's head with the whipped cream bottle smashed in the back of it.
I do, yeah.
Classic.
Classic.
Yeah. But don't look that up. We don't want to be canceled.
All right, so Ween's sixth studio album, White Pepper, was the band's final studio release for Elektra and released May 2nd, 2000. The pop-themed Lennon-McCartney-inspired album produced 2 singles, Even If You Don't, which was made into a music video directed by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, and Stay Forever.
Stay Forever is fucking awesome. I love that shit.
So can I say, 2 summers ago, me and my wife renewed our wedding vows. We did it in the backyard. We had all the shit lit up. When she came down the aisle to me, we were playing Stay Forever.
Aw.
Yeah, isn't that adorable?
Well, good thing you weren't playing Falling Out.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Which is also one of my favorite songs, though. Like, I love Falling Out. That's a great song. White Pepper is probably one of my favorite albums, but then again, it's probably one of the most normal albums.
Yeah, I call it the gateway album for sure.
Yep,
it's
that's
a
what
little easier to digest. At a party in Dover at your house, back when weed still cost like $80 for 2 grams, I remember we were there and Bananas and Blow came on. And someone at the party was like, "Oh, I love this song. I love Ween." And everyone was dancing. So then me and Steve Portree got all excited, like, "Oh, people who like Ween." So he ran down to the car and grabbed one of his patented Steve Portree mixtapes. And we started playing it. And some out songs from the pod come on. And the same person who said, "Oh, I love Ween," said, "What is this?
What the fuck is this? You ruined the party."
Yeah, basically. Steve's like, "This is Ween, that band you just said you loved so much." And we left shortly after that.
Oh, man.
It was like the turntable moment in like movies. Like,
yeah.
What is going on? Stop it. Stop it right now. I don't like it. Yeah, so White Pepper, easy to digest. The production's beautiful on it. We got songs like The Grove, Back to Basin, Stroker Ace, Even If You Don't, Flutes of the Chi. I mean, every song on this album's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a very good album.
You know, and they still stay brown with songs like Ice Castles. I mean, that song's scary.
Yep.
Candy Fackler is just a hilarious, like, offensive song.
It is. I heard that song the other day, actually.
Yeah, so lots of love for White Pepper. Definitely, if you're going to start with something, start with that, you know? Maybe you won't be traumatized.
Yeah.
So Ween signs to Sanctuary Records, going back to their indie studios roots. Are all done at Elektra. Elektra's like, we're good, thanks. So in 2003, they released Quebec. Quebec is noticeably darker in tone than much of Ween's work, and according to Freeman, many of the songs were written as he was going through a divorce. I wrote most of these songs right before the end of a relationship. A lot of these songs are about that. Even if it's not direct, you can feel the beginning of the end of the breakup in these songs. Malcanano would add, "I like it as a record, but it's very negative. It's one of our darker records, I think. I don't listen to any of our records, but I have never listened to that one."
It's going to be a long night. So my friend Dennis in the cannabis business, he fucking hates Ween, and like I would always try to push Ween on him. So he would be that type of person where I'd be like, "Hey, listen to this," and he'd be like, "Oh, who's this? This is pretty cool." I was like, "It's Ween." So I would do that to him all the time. So I played "It's Gonna Be a Long Night," which is very Motorhead-esque. You know,
gonna be a campfire.
Yeah, and it's fucking great. The Argus is one of my favorite Ween songs. If you could save yourself, you'd save us all. And Happy Colored Marbles. I fucking love Happy Colored Marbles.
I love that song too. It's definitely it's a pretty dramatic song. It's pretty fucking weird.
Yes, it's very weird.
I love the transition at the end when all of a sudden you just hear Gene screaming and the whole beat just like.
Yeah. That's the type of song that someone would be like, "What the fuck am I listening to?" I was like, "That's Ween."
Yeah, Chocolate Town, I Don't Want It. I think those songs are amazing.
Yep.
And honestly, if you could save yourself, you'd save us all. It's probably one of my favorite Ween songs of all time.
It's a great
Just
song and fantastic live as well too. So good live.
you could almost like hear the pain in Jeaner's voice when he's singing that song. Like it's
Yep.
palpable. It sends shivers up my spine when I listen to it. This album it is a hard listen. It's all over the place. I mean, it's dark. It's very brown on some parts, and those parts can be jarring, especially amongst all the more beautiful songs
It's a good
that are
mix
on
though,
this
I think. I
album.
think Quebec is a good mix of like white pepper and weird shit. Like
Yeah,
they walked a line there where there's some heavier shit, some good shit. But I really enjoyed Quebec a lot.
I can't remember. I think it was after Quebec came out. Is Pizza Hut hired Ween to
Yeah.
do a song for their stuffed crust pizza, and so Ween sends this song to him, and you can find versions of the song, and they did it on an all requests live album, which was an album that all the Ween fans pretty much voted on what songs they wanted to hear Ween play, and that's why you have all five stallions on that album. But they also play some of the Pizza Hut song on it. It's just like, where did cheese go? I don't know. Pizza Hut hears it, asks him to change a couple things. Ween tries it again. Pizza Hut rejects it. Finally, they ask him for one more. Pizza Hut's like, hey, can we just try this one more time? And we just sends back the song's like, where's the motherfucking cheese at? I don't know. I said, bitch, where's the motherfucking cheese at? And I was like, we don't care. We're not doing
Fuck.
your song, Pizza Hut.
We're more Papagenos guys.
Ew. I hope not.
Papagenos is better than Pizza Hut.
No, it's not.
What?
Papa Gino's is horrible.
Nah, they're both horrible, but
Well, if I'm gonna pick one, I'm going to Pizza Hut.
I don't know, man. Papagenos has better breadsticks and thinner pizza.
Yeah, but their sauce tastes like sugar.
Sugar.
Sugar. Sometimes Pizza Hut bangs. All right.
I mean, I'm only going to Pizza Hut if I'm reading books, so I can get my book it sticker.
So after the release of this album, Ween does the festival circuits, doing a West Coast tour in San Diego, and suddenly there's an announcement from Ween's manager, Greg Frey, announcing the upcoming tour would be canceled, and Freeman enters rehab.
Hey.
There's a problem with the band that requires immediate intervention for the health, welfare, and safety of one of its members. For this member, years of touring have taken their toll. Ween would take a year-long hiatus from touring before hitting the road again in 2005. And this is kind of the start of, Gene's ascension into a dark period in his life.
Yeah, Gene's always looked pretty fucking rough. He went through a time where like, wow, dude, this guy doesn't look alive.
I mean, from what I understand, on their last, big tour, I mean, they toured for the last, 2015 to current almost.
Even playing local shows for me takes it out on me as a 44-year-old. I can't imagine, playing these fucking giant shows and the energy drain that has on you. It's got to be insane.
From what I understand now, Gene currently sober, though.
Good for him.
So go Jeaner. So after their, brief hiatus and another tour, they hit the studio again to record better quality versions of previously unreleased songs for the compilation Shinola Volume 1. The 12 tracks were all, according to Melchinato, songs we regretted not putting on other records. And the tracks kind of span their entire career. Yeah, so this album, definitely a weird mix of songs, for sure. I mean, you got Tastes Good on the Bun. You got Big Fat Fuck. Those songs, pretty gnarly. But then they got like Did You See Me? Then Monique the Freak. It's an interesting album. It's definitely, it's a little disjointed, I would say. But again, it's more of like a compilation of, songs that they just wanted to put on albums, but just never released.
Yep. It's good, not great. Like, I mean, I obviously enjoy it, but I mean, I think the rest of their catalog is, I would probably listen to all their other albums instead of this one.
Yeah.
For me, for my money.
In February 2006, Ween rented an old farmhouse and converted it into a working studio. After writing over 50 songs and recording rough versions through 2006, they picked through them and, with Andrew Weiss as producer, re-recorded the album versions for what would be the Friends EP and a full-length La Cucaracha, which was released October 23rd, 2007 on Rounder Records.
Real quick, Andrew Weiss was their old bass player. He wasn't a member of the band, he just produced the album?
Yep, so he played bass for him for a while, but he was more of a producer. He produced Chocolate and Cheese,
cool,
and he's been with them kind of the whole time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so this is when they released La Cucaracha,
Mm.
which would prove to be Ween's final album.
Oh.
Freeman calling this album a big piece of shit. I think the songs on it were good, or a bunch of songs, but overall there was a clue. Mickey and I were finito.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean, they're kind of announcing the end of Ween right there.
Yeah. I like La Cucaracha. Object and With My Own Bare Hands, Blue
Yeah,
Balloon. I think it's pretty fire album.
yeah, it's a good album.
Yeah.
Your Party, I've always liked that
Yeah.
song a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, it's a good song.
It definitely gets weird with songs like Spirit Walker and the Fruit Man. Fruit
Yes.
Man, kind of a weird reggae track, fun to listen to. Learning to Love, another fantastic song. Yeah, and this is, you know, it's the beginning of the end.
Oh.
So Ween does basically a ton of touring during this time. It's definitely taken its toll on the members of the band. And there's one video that's out there that's kind of hard to watch. Is Jeter's just so fucked up that he's laying on the ground while the band's playing. He gets up to go play Birthday Boy, and one by one, all the members of the band walk off stage, and he's on stage by himself, and it's like a super sad video to watch.
Oh.
Yeah, so they break up shortly after this. They both start releasing kind of solo projects, and both, all the albums that they put out. There was the Dean Ween project put out 2 albums, or Dean Ween band put out 2 albums that were both have some great track highlights, and then the Freeman album, so Jeter's solo album is really good, and it's got some great songs on it. While
I don't think I've heard that. I don't think I've heard any of their
ah
solo stuff.
Really,
Yeah,
definitely
no.
check it out.
Yeah.
One of my all encompassing favorite Ween universe songs called "For a While I Couldn't Play My Guitar Like a Man."
Is that Freeman or is that Diener?
That's Freeman.
Okay.
So during this time, Freeman was performing dozens of solo shows. Gene Ween band was playing from 2008 to 2011. Jeter was also doing this great Billy Joel inspired tour.
Yeah, I did see that.
Steve Porter was actually at that, and he said it was just amazing. I mean, again, his range vocally is
Anytime they do a cover, like he nails it. I love the cover of what is it, Wings?
yeah,
Band on the
yeah.
Run is fucking great, dude.
It's
So good.
better
It
than the
is.
original.
It is better than the original. And that's a great song. I love Wings,
Yeah.
especially when they're on planes. Yeah.
So while Freeman was touring his solo show and working on his own solo albums, Diener focuses all his attention on fishing.
Nice, as one would.
He became a licensed fishing boat captain and hosted a web series, Brownie Troop Fishing Show, from 2008 to 2011. As of 2015, he still offers trips on his website, Mickey's Guide Service. In 2013, it was announced Trey Parker and Matt Stone would be producing a pilot for a reality show about fishing, starring Diener and Les Claypool.
Sick.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone have a long history with Ween. They were on, I think, the second season of South Park they were featured on, and they did a song called Homo Rainbow.
Yeah. Remember, they did that at the Avalon. They were like, look, there's the Homo Rainbow.
Yeah, and I know they had I want to say like a 20th or 30th anniversary for South Park.
My sister Lori was there at Red Rocks.
Yeah, dude, they had Primus on one stage and Ween on another stage. The creators of South Park were just going back and forth on the stages, singing with each band and shit, celebrating their music.
That must have been such a fucking hilarious, awesome show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It was official that Ween was announced broken up on 2011. Claude Coleman was in a serious car accident and hurt himself pretty bad. As for the breakup for Ween, Jeter announces to Rolling Stone on May 29, 2012, he was retiring Gene Ween. A few days later, Ween's manager Greg Frey told fans on Facebook that Freeman had decided to end his musical relationship with Ween in order to more fully explore his solo career. Melchinato appeared to be unaware of all this, stating, this is all news to me. All I can say for now, I guess. On July 20th, Melchinato addressed the supposed breakup and stated, I can only speak for myself, but as far as I'm concerned, as long as Aaron and I are both still alive on this planet, Ween is still together. We've never broken up. The idea of quitting is just laughable. This isn't something you can quit. This is a life sentence.
Get him.
Yeah, Ween eventually reunites in 2015, and they just tour like crazy.
Yes, they did.
Right up until 2015 to 2024, they were touring. There was a couple projects announced. There was Shinola Volume 1 outtake was announced, but nothing ever came of that. They did release a God, Ween, Satan live album during this time, and they released a bunch of other subsequent live albums.
Paint the Town Brown.
Paint the Town Brown, which is a compilation album, which is fantastic.
It is really good. I love the version of Mr. Will You Please Help My Pony on that. The guitar solo is fucking sick.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's basically Ween in a nutshell, Greg. They announced right before their 30th anniversary tour in Hershey, Pennsylvania, that Diener had to step away from live touring for the foreseeable future for mental health concerns.
What the fuck? This is a life sentence.
Several decades of Ween. Finally, they're taking a little bit of time to decompress. And, I don't know what the future holds for Ween. I don't know if we're never going to get another album or another live show, but, thank you for the music is all I could say. And
now, would you rather have another album or a live show, another tour?
Well, we just had the 20-year anniversary of Chocolate and Cheese or whatever. Yep. Was it 30?
It was 20, I think.
I'd have to look at my notes.
No, it was 30. Actually, it was 94.
They had a re-release of Chocolate and Cheese remastered, and there was some great B-sides from that album that they did. Very brown, very fun. And that was actually on my album of the year last year.
It was.
Again.
Yeah, and I almost did the same thing. I would love a new album, but I'd rather have them tour because, again, their live show is so awesome. I think I saw them at 2023 at the Rooster Club, whatever, this place in Boston that was fucking sick. Same place we saw Prof. And then also at the Hampton Beach Casino one last time, I believe in 2024, and it was excellent. I got the pop Sean Rogers cherry for Ween. He never really listened to him at all. We brought him to a Ween show. He fucking absolutely loved it, as one would,
Glad you liked it, Brother Rogers.
Yeah, so of course I saw Jay there and Sean Rooney, and I saw the dude I worked with at Cannabis Garden. Like, it's always a good, diverse crowd at Ween as well, too, and a good, respectful crowd that likes to get fucked up.
Yeah, you're never going to see a more diverse group of people in your life than you'll see at a Ween show. Everything from punk rockers to hippies to hip hop kids to nerds. Ween's uniting everybody.
For sure.
Ween is a thing that can heal this country.
And I did mention some of the songs they've been featured in movies, but I'm going to go over all of them right now. Like we mentioned, South Park, Homo Rainbow, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Ocean Man, It's Pat, the Saturday Night Live movie featuring Charles Rocket. They did Pork Roll, Egg and Cheese, and they appeared in the movie.
Have you seen it? It's Pat?
Yeah. Yes, I have, yeah.
I watched it for that scene.
Yes. We're Ween! Road Trip and Dude, Where's My Car featured Voodoo Lady. A movie from 1996 called Beautiful Girls features I'll Miss You. In 2018, Game Over Man, Workaholics Boys, featured You Fucked Up in the movie.
Nice.
Which I did not know, and I was like, what? I love that.
One of the other, maybe second time I heard Ween was on the show The State.
Nice.
And, they play, I think Voodoo Lady was on that as well. That was definitely one of my early Ween memories.
Love them some Voodoo Lady.
It's a great song, man. And live, that song is also fantastic. And they've done some pretty epic, long versions of that song, too, and they really bring the funk.
Yeah, again, they're not touring right now, but if you do like some Ween, you can easily look up live shows, and they just kick so much ass live. It's so fucking good.
That's great to count how many times they say, "We are Ween."
Yeah. That used to make me laugh so much. Like, we're Ween. Hey, we're Ween. It's like, yeah, we know. We're here to see you, buddy. But they're just funny, hilarious. Like, they're, people like the Bare Naked Ladies think they're funny, but they're not. Yeah. You're not. You're not funny. I'm funny. I'm in Follically Challenge. I'm pretty funny. Ween is fucking hilarious. Like, there's a reason they're, loved by the South Park guys.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Greg, anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, man. They are an acquired taste, so don't start super early with the Pod and God, Ween, Satan. I would say Chocolate and Cheese, White Pepper. Start with that stuff, and I'm telling you, they have something for everybody. They're like the You Run Podcast Network. There's a song for everybody. Their genres are all over the place, and they're the only band that can play you a song. You'd be like, "Oh, who's this?" It's Ween. Then I'll play another song. I'm like, "Oh, who's this?" It's Ween. So that happens to me in my life so many fucking times. Now they see it on Spotify, like, yeah, it's Ween. I know, just see it. But back in the day when you could magically, hey, check this song out. press play, boom, here it is. I'd like to obviously thank you and Steve Portree for getting me into such an amazing band. And like, again, like they're probably top 5 band for me. I fucking love them. They're excellent.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad to do it. Well, I mean, I guess we'll end it by saying we'd like to thank everyone for listening. You're all beautiful, beautiful people.
Yeah. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Pod, YouTube, all that stuff. Like I said, we rep the You Run Podcast Network. Check us out at yourunpodcast.com. All those awesome shows. We've been pumping out some Patreon episodes. So for just $1 a month, if you want to listen early and check out the Crusty Boys for a little early access, you can do that. And if you want to give us a review, that would help us out totally. So we would appreciate that. And obviously, Seamus couldn't be here today. He's a big Ween fan as well. I saw my last Ween show with Seamus and Brother Rogers, and we had a great time.
Absolutely. And, always keep it brown. And remember, in Crust, we trust.
You fucked up.
The boggy.
A nigga something necessary as how the stuff was. Stuff was, yeah, stuff was. What you choose, gonna bust, yeah, how the stuff was.